Today's episode is all about how to double your income in just 1 year. That's right, if you want to get your income to an extremely high level fast, this is the video for you. I'm going to show you how I did it, how many of the people I've worked with have done it, and so this is proven stuff that works. So, without further ado, let's jump in. Hi, my name is James Corsia, and welcome to the Money Paradox podcast. Yes, that is right. We're talking about how to double your income in just 1 year. And how do we do it? Well, there are a number of ways we can do it. And I'm going to go through many of these with you, pros and cons, which that I think are a bit better than some of the others, how I've done it, how many other people that I know have done it too. Right. So the first thing we want to think about are all of the various ways in which we can do this. How do we get our income up higher? Look at all those and then think about which are most powerful and most beneficial to your situation, because not all of them are going to be available. Some maybe, but not all of them. So let me go through them. So first one is all around. So we've got about 7 here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 different ways we're going to do it, and we're going to jump through those, right? So you've got to have a lot of options at the end of this video. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this video, you like the topic of this video and other videos that I've been doing, please do like the video. It means a huge amount. Please do share the video with others that you think would really benefit from this video, and comment. Let me know what you think. Do you like the topic of this video? Do you want to see other videos being covered by me? The more you let me know what you guys want to see, the better I'm able to help you guys, the better I'm able to add value to your lives, specifically in the areas you want, right? Many of the questions that I cover, including this one, was actually raised by people watching this content. Actually, Roger, I want to give a shout out to Roger. That is the person who gave me this question, and I think many of you guys watching this will also find value in me covering it. So let's jump in. First one is promotion. So if you've got a job right now, you're an employee, think of ways in which you can get that next role within that company. And the best way to do this is by adding more value at work. Many people see their time at work and think, I've got to spend X amount of time to get Y amount of money. And that is the wrong way to think about it. Because yes, you might have a commitment from a time perspective. Excuse me. Yes, you might have a commitment from a time perspective, but if you think about it, really the reason why they are paying you money is because of the value they're giving you, giving them. So if you are giving them more value, they're more likely or more willing to pay you more money. So if you can think of ways in which you can double or even triple the amount of value you can provide to your employer in the same amount of time, maybe even less time, then all you need to do is come up with those ways and put a proposition to your company as to how you're going to be able to do that. Give them the opportunity, give them the ability to provide you the opportunity to do that, and say, look, I'm going to prove I can do this. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to get you 2, 3 times more value through doing that. And by me doing that, if I'm able to prove that I'm doing that in 2, 3 months' time, then will you be willing to double my income? And if you can prove that you are tripling your value and you're offering them the ability to just pay you to double or maybe even 80% more, then why wouldn't they do it? A lot of employers are very, very keen to pay you more money if you can add more value. All right. Now, not every employer is going to want to do this. You know, some people are very stuck in their ways, very closed-minded in how they think about things, right? So this isn't always going to work, but I think you will be extremely surprised by the kind of reception you're going to get. I've done this and I've seen a lot of people do it. And the great thing is, so few people do this. So when you do it, just the fact that you're doing it is bold and it is impressive. People who do these kind of things are the kind of people who are very successful, and they'll know that deep down. All right, so they're immediately massively raising their impression of you. Okay, now the key thing is you need to deliver on that. You need to come up with ways that you genuinely believe you can be able to add value. If you really think about it, you're a smart person. You can definitely come up with those ways. You just got to think, how do I add more value where I'm working? Okay, so that's how you able to get more income in your current job. The second way is by moving to another job that can give you more income. And there are kind of, I would say, three main ways you can do it. The first way is by moving to a more lucrative industry. Okay, so if you think about it, you're doing a job, you're spending time and energy on a particular task or set of tasks, particular area, particular specialty, and you're being paid as a result of that. Now, that money that you're being paid is a result of the value you are providing in the world, the company, whatever. Now, if you think about it, the value you provide as a result of your work is not just about how good you are, how much time you spend, or the knowledge or the skills you're adding to. It's to do with what it's being added to. So if you take two industries, one of which is declining, nobody wants it anymore, there's not much interest in it, there's not much money in it. Let's take, I don't know, fax machines, right? Fax machines are dead, not many people use them anymore, it's extremely rare. And if you work on fax machines, then highly likelihood is that you're not making a huge amount of money unless it's a real special niche area within that. Now, if you take another area, say like 3D printing or something that's within the future technology or how to, online streaming and so on, some of the areas that are doing really, really well at the moment that there's a huge amount of demand for and growth in those areas. If you're adding value in those industries, you're a lot more likely to get paid much better because the things you're doing within that industry are able to add more value within the world. And that's because people in the world add more, view that area as more valuable. If you think about footballers make a huge amount of money. Now, you may think that is controversial, you may not agree with it, but the reality is they do. Why do they? Why do they earn so much money? If you think about it, it's because people consider that area as extremely valuable. And not just that, a lot of people. Football is loved by millions of people within the world. And also those people, a lot of those people have extreme value from those areas. They're willing to pay a lot of money to watch it, to support it, to be a part of it. And those football players, especially the most famous, get a lot of that money in receipt because they are fueling that value. So you can do that within your own situation by moving to an area that is more lucrative, that there's more money in it, there's more demand, there's more value to be provided and received in those areas. Next way is to move to a higher role. So actually, I'm not a massive fan of trying to go for promotions within your current role. That's usually because promotions within a company are often harder than moving to another company and getting promoted. And that's because there's a certain reputation and view of you, and there's a huge bar. You've got to kind of almost prove that you can do that role before you even get paid for it. So you've got a whole process of evidencing it, showing time of doing it. Huge process, right? So you're almost doing that job for a very long time before getting paid for that job. So I feel that's very inefficient, and the bar is very, very high. You can do it, you can absolutely do it, and how I just told you to do it really, really does work. It's very powerful. But a much more powerful way, and I've seen this time and time again, and I've done it, is by moving to another company at a higher role. So for example, if you're a manager and you want to be promoted to senior manager, you can apply to be a senior manager within your current job, or you could just apply to be a senior manager at another company. Now you might think, no, how can I do that? How can I just go into another company at a higher role when I've never even done it before? I've never done that role. They don't know me. How can they believe that's possible? Well, it happens every day of the year. People are constantly moving into jobs at higher roles. It might not happen all the time. You may not necessarily know about it, but it definitely happens. And that's because people want to fill these roles. And often when you're coming in for interview and you're proving yourself through interviews, through maybe assessments and so on, they are looking to be they're looking to see whether you can do that role based on what you're saying and what you're showing, what you're evidencing, not just by what you've done in that previous company. Really, if you have faith and confidence that you can do that role at the next level and you can articulate it well and convince another employer to be able to do it, you definitely can do it. And the way to do it is by over-promising and over-delivering. So many people say under-promise, over-deliver. Yes, that works because then it's very easy to exceed expectations, but that's how you get okay results. You want to get excellent results. You want to be able to move fast within this world. You want to be able to increase your income quickly. You overpromise and then over-deliver. Now that might sound really hard work and, kind of risky almost. Yes, it is hard work. Is it risky? No. I absolutely believe you can do that. If you take the view that it is extremely important for you to go to that next level and you want to do it fast, you want to do it quickly, and you want to commit to that next role now, you can definitely do it. All you need to do is decide that you want to do that next role. If you think about it, many of the times, how many times have you moved into a new role, or even in your same company, you get promoted or you end up doing another job, and at first you haven't got a clue what's going on, right? You feel totally out of your depth. And then what happens? You go, right, I need to sort this. I need to learn this. I need to be able to do this because right now I don't know. So what do? You learn, you work out, you speak to people, you learn, and then you get good, and then you get good at doing that job. If you get forced into a situation where you have to level up to survive, you do level up. And not everyone, but most people, if you really want to and you're committed, you can definitely do that. So if you really want to do it fast, I really encourage you, go apply for that role above, get it, overpromise around what you're able to do around it to get that job. And when you get into that job, for those first 3 months, all you need to do is make sure you can do that level. And you can. All you need to do is just dedicate 3 months and think, right, what is it that I need to do, learn? Who do I need to speak to? What do I need to do every day to make sure I can prove to these guys I can do this next level up? All right, that is absolutely powerful. Okay, so that's how you get that higher income by moving to another job. And now the third one is freelance. So freelance is effectively doing your current job or something very similar, but instead of doing it for an employer, you're effectively employing yourself, right? So as an example, if you were an IT consultant, right, then what you can do is you can either be an IT consultant for a company, and that company can get you to work on various projects for other companies or for their company, or you can employ yourself to work for those companies yourself directly, okay? And by doing that, companies love it. And the reason they love it is because they are taking that, there's kind of less risk for them. They employ you. If they don't like you, they can get rid of you. If they don't need you after 6 months, they can get rid of you. If all of the various costs around employing you that they would normally have to pay, they don't have to pay. So for example, pension or certain taxes they're paying to the government, training, all these various things they don't need to pay. All they need to worry about is paying your day rate, how much they pay you per day or per hour to do the job. Now you might say, well, then that's the point. You then have to take all those risks on. What happens if you get ill? What about your pension? What do I do for training? What happens if they fire me after a week? Yes, they are risks, and you've got to be willing to take those on. But I would challenge you back, and I would say, actually, if you really think about it, being an employee in many ways is more risky. So why do I think that? Well, let's take a couple of examples. If you think about it, if you've got a job and if you're an employee, then you think, I've got my job. They can't fire me. I've got the job. It's a permanent job. I've got this job for life. Well, in practice, no, you don't. If that company starts to do badly or stops needing you or thinks you're doing a bad job, what are they going to do? They're going to fire you. Ultimately, if that company doesn't see value from you or sees value less than what they're paying for you, they're going to get rid of you. Maybe not tomorrow, but they will get rid of you. And the big part of this is that because for a lot of people, they don't really think about it like that. They're not constantly thinking, am I adding value? Am I adding more value than these guys are paying me? How do I make sure that I'm valuable regardless of the situation that's going on? because they're not thinking like that, what happens is in those situations when they no longer need you and they get rid of you, what happens? You're suddenly stuck. You're stuck trying to find another job. And all of a sudden, for many people, they're in a situation where they're struggling to be able to prove they can add value to another company because they've not stayed up to date with various knowledge. They're not clear and confident about what they're able to do. They can't articulate themselves well. They're not able to show that they can use their knowledge and abilities in other companies in a different way. Whereas if you're freelance, you're always thinking that. You're thinking, how am I adding value to this company? How do I make sure I can add value to other companies? How do I make sure that I can prove it to them so that they can keep giving me work? And if they don't give me work, I know I can go get another job. Because if you're constantly thinking that, then what happens is we are more secure because we know confidently that we'll be able to get another job. Now, it might not be straight away, but the big difference is because you're getting paid so much more as a freelance, you can weather that storm. You can have that time off between jobs, and it's okay, and you know you can, right? So yes, you've got to be able to be confident in that environment and be able to live with uncertainty. But if you're up for it and you really want to upgrade your income, this is one of the most powerful ways to do it. I really can't express that enough. Very few people make this shift, and they don't because they get worried and fearful and they want certainty. So if you can sit with that uncertainty and still be able to thrive, really powerful move. Because you can earn effectively after tax about 3 times usually more income than you are earning right now. Just think, 3 times more income. If tomorrow you started earning 3 times more than you're earning today, would you be in a better mood? Would you have more opportunities? Would you have a better life? Most definitely. So if that sounds exciting, that is a good area to do it in. Next one, do a second job. So you're doing your current job, you can find spare time and go do another job. Now the trouble with doing this is that it takes a lot of time. So if you're doing a full-time job, you're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and you're spending a lot of time doing that, and then you're trying to find time outside of that to do another job. The danger with this is that you get really stuck with your time. You can get really worn down. You have very little time for your family, your friends, social, and it can start to weigh you down. Even your health can deteriorate. Now, a lot of people can really manage to make 2-3 jobs work. They can do 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep a night and still be able to cope. Great. And if that works for you, do it and make more money that way. But the danger with this is that you're kind of spreading yourself too thin. What I would suggest is that you're better off thinking about ways you can get more money, more income from that main job through various ways. So if you're looking to make income alongside your current job, right? You're looking to go get a second job, for example, that can be useful. You can get additional money that way. But the trouble with a second job is it can really drain your time. It can take a lot of time from you, and then you stop to be able to be creative and smart around how to drive towards your ultimate ambitions, what you ultimately want from life, and why you want to double your income to be able to expand your life. So yes, it might work in the short term, but it can hold you back often because it can really stop you from really living a more balanced, full life. So if you're going to do that, much better to come up with some kind of side hustle, something on the side that is more in line with what it is that you actually want longer term. If you're looking to move away from your current job, because then it's moving you closer to what you ultimately want. So think about it. If you are looking to make more money quickly, do it from your main job, because that is where you're able to add the most value, the most and the fastest. If you want to supplement that elsewhere, outside of that, look to start to build bridges towards what you ultimately want if your current job is not what you want, right? Make sense? It's all about adding the most value with the time that you have available, because the more value you provide, the more money you're going to ultimately earn as a result. Okay. Now, the last one I want to cover off just very quickly is just building a business, moving from what you're currently doing, if it is a job, to building a business. Now, the reason why I leave this to the end is because it's bold, it's risky. You can absolutely do it, and with the right business, you can make a huge amount of money. But the reality of businesses, most businesses fail. Within the first 5 years, 80% of businesses fail. Of the ones that survive over the next 5 years, 80% of those businesses fail. So the odds are against you. You can absolutely do it. I love business, and I think it's a very powerful way to make money. But if you want to double your income fast, building a business is not the way to do it, because in 1 year, it is very difficult to make substantial money from a business. It's more about the long term when you're building a business. Now, if that is part of your future plans, you want to build a business in a specific area because that's a passion for you, that is part of your ultimate ambition, absolutely do it. But just recognize that that may not be the best way to double your income in 1 year. Now, I've gone through 7 very powerful ways in which you're able to do it. Now I want to talk about what do you do about them. So you've got all of these various options. Think about which of those options are available to you given your current situation. Which are easier for you to do, get more money quickly from those options, and pursue those, the ones that are most relevant to your situation based on the options that you have. The next thing I'll say is pull them together. This is what I did, and this was very powerful for me. I used multiple methods at the same time, and over my life I've used a different one to think about where you are, which ones you can do, try and pull on all of them at the same time, or go for one, build that, then move to another, build another, and then you can start to get those multiple streams of income, which can be hugely powerful. And then that's when your income really starts to accelerate. Last thing I'll cover off is converting opportunities and situations in your life and converting it to actual income. So 2 examples of that. One is if you have assets that are capital appreciating, like property, then look at those and then think, well, if I want to double my income in a year, well, how can I convert that or change what I'm investing in to be more income generating? Okay, so it might be dividend stocks. It might be properties that get a much better yield from rental each month rather than getting a much stronger capital appreciation. And then the second one is, okay, if you're putting your heart and soul into a job, you're wanting to progress in a job, then career jobs that have those prospects tend to pay you less now. And that's because in part what they're paying you in is development and the potential of getting more in the future. But if you want to earn money now quickly because you need that money to build wealth or to create opportunities elsewhere in your life for what you really want, then moving to, say, freelance, where you're getting much higher income right now that might not give you the same kind of opportunities in the long term, then that can be extremely powerful. Because if you don't ultimately want to be in that job long term, you don't want to become a director or a partner or a CEO within that area, within that company, then why are you building to that role? Why are you investing in those career jobs if you don't ultimately want it? Okay, so that's what I'll leave you on. I hope you found this useful. I hope this is giving you some ideas to double your income in 1 year. If you're excited by this, if you think this is a powerful video and it's giving you some really exciting ideas to be able to push yourself to the next level, please do let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know if there's something specific within this video or elsewhere that you'd like me to cover in future videos. I'm more than happy to do that. If you enjoyed it, please do share it with others that that you think would benefit from it. That's all from me. I hope you've had an enjoyable session, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. That's it from me. See you next week. Bye-bye.